Bang. Okay, we're wrapping here on our 2 days together. Final opportunity for questions in person until some of us meet next.
Yeah, as far as using lower volume of training, do you mainly stick to just basically the basic strength exercise? We use the squat, deadlift, bench press.
In conjunction with some of those other more isolated unilateral exercises like control drills and the single leg exercises.
Okay. And you wouldn't use any other, or would you find it helpful to use any other secondary exercises?
Such as?
Such as like let's say incline bench or a different grip row?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. They're variations of core movements, aren't they? Incline bench is still a bench press. Seated row is still a row. So it's just, I don't use the same movements all the time. You're going to have that variety, yes.
Yeah. Do you incorporate dumbbells into your...
Not as much as people would expect. Obviously, they've got a role. If you wanted to do one side at a time, you're going to use the dumbbell pretty much on a cable. But
what about as far as like any kind of a bench press or a row?
I don't use them as much. I think when you go into loading, I prefer to get the bar. But then if we're training the nervous system, we're not getting too carried away whether it's a bar or a dumbbell. And I know there's strength surfaces, etc. But just personally, generally speaking, I would lean more towards the use of the barbell than dumbbell. So there's a place, but not as much when I'm going heavy.
As far as vegetarians, with your experience, have you seen it productive for muscle hypertrophy?
As you see in Gap Bar 4, I talk about Bill Pearl and Bill Pearl's reference to some of these things, and I believe it's possible, but I believe it's harder to achieve your goals in a vegetarian diet. It's not something I'd be rushing to do, but if you felt there was a need to do it, we'd have to find a way.
Same from clients that I don't advocate it, but...
Yeah. I'm open to it, but I'm not rushing at it.
So for lower volume training, what would be like the max number of sets you would do?
Well, it depends on the training method, it depends on the training age. If you're using more like a circuit method where you're having shorter rest periods, lower loading, you might get 30 work sets in. But if you're going more conventional, longer rest period time, you know my recommendations, it's well established in writing, typically somewhere between 10 and 15 sets, work sets, 8 to 15 work sets. The heavier you go, the less sets you're going to do. Okay? Tell us.
What are the more practical methods used for recovery, just in the general population?
Did you watch the Angela Kuhn video we did?
No, I didn't. They said it wasn't available.
You are level 2? You've got access to it. It's there on level 1. It's an hour and a half of video, most of which is talking about recovery. And she's including reference to general population clients. Yeah, ignore that. Go into the Vidler site for level 1. Look for it. You'll find it, and you can watch it. Go home and watch it tonight. I'd rather you get 190 minutes of that than me give you 30 seconds on that. I want you all to exploit the stuff that's there. There's so much content on that site. I don't know if you noticed, but it's always growing. And the higher up you go, I mean, you're level 2 now, so you see stuff now that the level people don't. Hopefully you're using it. Okay. So it would appear we've all questioned out, as you know.
What should they do next week? Application?
Right. If you haven't completed the level 1, get stuck into it. I'm not sure whether you're here because it was convenient or whether you're generally committed to learning. Time will tell. But you've got 35 units and 1,500 pages of really good quality information, along with 35 audios and 35 videos. Not long, but then there's the learning support tools, which is quite a solid library of content. I would encourage you to immerse yourself in it, as John has, and then your application will improve. So we want to over-service you in terms of opportunities to learn, and I believe that it's there. When you're going through the level 1, just don't read it and throw it in the bin, or read it and put it away. We actually want you to reflect on it and apply it. So when someone does 20 units in one day, I get very concerned for how they're learning, if that makes sense. It's something that you ideally maybe take 2 units a week, or it'd be normal to wrap it up in about 3 months. About 3 months. Average would be about 3 months, which is 35 units. 2 a week is about 16 weeks. Yeah. 3 or 4 months. 2 to 3 units a week. But be consistent. How did you find the level 1, Carlos?
I did it a while ago, so I mean, it was very good, very informative.
What unit are you up to, Alex? 4, okay. Same as Chris was up to. And to keep going.
I've kind of relearned everything. Like, everything in the past few years, kind of relearned from scratch. I felt the need to.
Yeah, good. You're saying
Like we talked about earlier.
emptying the cup a little bit? Yeah, that's important. I actually have a question in my mind about whether people can empty their cup. Not necessarily from any previous influence, but there are some influences in the market that I've not seen anyone successfully empty their cup from. So I look forward to the learning, and I'll learn from how you manage. I'm not saying from your influences, but I'm saying that I have some influences that have been pretty dogmatic and people have struggled to come back from.
Yeah.
All right, because when we wrap. Carlos.
So what I took away from today is some of the stuff I was doing, I just realized I wasn't doing it correct. So from here till I see you again, how do I get competent at some of the finer points in coaching?
John, can you help with that? Because you've been in the same situation, you live in the same town, saw me the same frequency as Carlos does, once every year or 2.
Yeah, just you gotta read and reread the books, and watch and rewatch the DVDs, and then the Vidler site, watch and rewatch the videos there. Because the second time, once you read it and you develop a little bit better level of competency, then the next time you go back and read it, you're not the same person when you read it the first time. You're a little bit smarter. So you'll be able to pick up a little bit more things on the way, and same thing with the DVDs. And then you rewatch it, and then you rewatch it. And then you apply it. You apply it to yourself, and you've got to apply it to your clients.
So when we survey the coaches in the top end of our program, we say, how many times have you read this or watched this? What's the average? We've done that, you've heard them say it. What's the average?
I mean, we've talked about it, but it's just, no one can even put a real number on it because it's just so many times.
It's not unusual for a coach that's been studying with me for 10 to 15 years to watch every one of the artifacts 15 plus times. So, you've done it once or twice. Keep going.
Well, Greg, you haven't even done level 1. How many times have you read? You have above 1 through 4. How many DVDs have you,
Oh, yeah.
Every
Three or four times. Yes.
And he hasn't even done level 1.
We're starting now. He's registered 2 days ago, so he's about to get it done. So just expect more of yourself. Study harder, study faster, and apply it. You don't need me here holding your hand. Others have shown that you can independently, in a different country, advance yourself with that material.
And don't be afraid to do it with your clients too.
I mean, I do it, but I just realized I was doing some of the cueing, especially because it'd be a little subtle like saying, we're coming up, and I wasn't realizing that before from the video.
So I would say where most trainers kind of fail is when they go and learn a new thing, they're afraid to teach it to their clients because they think it implies that they didn't know what they were doing in the first place. But you have to teach them all the new techniques and new cues that work. Because it's not about you looking good, it's about then getting the result there.
Thank you.
Excellent, great advice. So if we're concluded on any questions, I appreciate your attendance and I appreciate the opportunity to use the facility here. Thank you, Alicia and Peter, and everyone's time here. I trust it's been valuable for you. You have opportunities to advance in our coach education if you wish. Alternatively, I wish you all the best in whatever path you do pursue. Thank you. Want to clip that?